William M. Deskins, but everybody calls me Bill. So I was born on Johns Creek at the mouth of Mead House in February the 26th, 1930. Been a busy man. Well, I went to a one-room schoolhouse up Mead House, a mile up there, and when sixth grade, as I remember, they hired me. I got a good job. They wanted me to go a half hour early in the morning and build a fire in a bellied stove, and I did. And big rich job. I got a nickel every day I changed to fix the fire. Mom said, "Well, you're going to go to high school," and I said, "Mom," she said, "you've got to learn something, and I want to tell you something. What are you going to do when you grow up?" I said, "I don't know. Whatever you do, you be the best at it." And my grandmother came right behind her and said, "Now you don't do anything, buy anything, or do anything without looking at the whole picture." And I've used that information, and it's been pretty good for me. We had a high school on Lower Johns Creek, but it was from mouth of Mead House to Meta. It was 7 miles, no road to go through the creek or whatever. And then from the old 119 down Johns Creek, it was 4 miles down there, and no bus. And Mom said, "I'm just going to rent a place on High Street near this high school, and see you and your brother Paul is going to get a high school education." And I graduated in 1948. My great-great-grandfather was county judge in 1882 through 85 and built the courthouse that we have now. And my grandpa told me that he run for a re-election, and they said, "You wasted too much money building that old courthouse," and he didn't get re-elected. And so I've learned a little bit as I went along. Well, I ran for sheriff in '69. There was 5 of us running, and I came in second. So then I decided to run for sheriff in '73, and I won. And it was an interesting job. I had a problem. I said, bootlegging was rampant then. So I said, "Lord have mercy, I can't go around a bootlegger unless everybody knows who I am." And there was some things going around there and everything, and so I decided I'd have to wear a uniform. I said, "Oh Lord, they'll think I'm a smart butt." And I'm the only sheriff at that time that ever wore a uniform. And I sent to Frankfort and got the criteria pertaining to the sheriff's office. In there it says the sheriff shall wear a uniform. And it said, if I go around a bootlegger, I have to want everybody to know who I am. There was some things going around about previous sheriffs, but I didn't want it to be me. I've always done what was honest. And so I did run again and was sheriff in 52 through 55. And I enjoyed it. I did my job. Had a few funny things that happened and some dangerous things that happened. But I had a great friend to help me, Captain Likens of the state police. We both were Masons, and he wanted to help me do anything that he could, and he did. And he said, after I was in there about 2 months, he said, "I cannot reach you on your radio." I said, "Well, on a 0 to 10, my acceptance is a 1. And I said, if I'm on top of a mountain, it'll go through once in a while. And I decided that I would have to fix it. And I had it checked out. I needed 3 power poles out there, you know what I mean, to get reception. And the previous judge, the sheriff's office didn't have that much money, $35,000 for 3. And I asked him to help me, and he said, we don't have the money. And he had more money than you could shake your stick at. But anyway, it was interesting, and he called me about a week later. He said, bring your sheriff's car down here to the post. And I took it down there, and he had a state police radio and put it in my sheriff's car. I've never heard of that before, but he did. And he said, when I want to talk to you, Captain Likens, I want to talk to you. So we worked real good together, and I was so happy that with his experience and whatnot, and it's law enforcement, and he taught me a lot. And they had a month's training at Frankfort for the sheriffs. I went down there, and that helped a lot. So while we're talking about the sheriff, I won't tell you about the dangers that I was in, but I'll tell you about a funny thing or two. He told me, he said, we need to go out on the weekend about twice a month, two weekends, go to Elkhorn City or go to South Williamson or whatever. And we did, and it was interesting. So jury stayed open all night then, and we was there about 2 o'clock in the morning and had been to Elkhorn City and come back. And he said, I'm ready to go. I said, well, I am too. He had a trooper driving us. We hadn't been gone 2 minutes from juries up there, and the dispatcher come on. She said, there's a problem up at Shelbyana, and all the units are busy. And Captain Likens said, I will take care of that. He told their driver to tell him that we would give us the directions. Well, it was up at Shelbyana. When you turn across a bridge at the river, you go down there about 300 maybe yards and turn left into Shelbyana. And it was where it turns up that creek there, it was a corner house. Well, we went across the bridge and turned the lights out, the trooper did, and went about 150 feet and stopped the vehicle, and we walked out to where this house was. Well, we walked on the porch there, and then suddenly the door flew open. There was a little boy about, I'd say 8 or 9 years old. And I said, son, what's the matter? Somebody's in the house. And here come his mother, and she said, what's going on? Mommy, there's somebody in the house. Son, there's nobody in the house. Yes, they are. I saw him come out of your bedroom. And she said, now, nobody wasn't in my bed. Yes, it was, Mom. I saw him come out of your bedroom. Well, we had to search the house under the beds and in the closets and everything to prove to him there wasn't nobody in the house. And I was worried about the situation when we left, that if he talked to his dad, there might be trouble. Never heard nothing else about it. So anyway, and you run into a little something like that once in a while, and then there's a danger there. I've had 5 or 6 times I could have been dead, but I'm still here. But I was very interested in being sheriff, and I wore my uniform, and I was happy to do that, but I knew when I started that everybody'd think I was a smart butt, but I had to do my job. Well, when I was judged in 03 to 06, we had, like I say, that was a thing, but this term was terrible. I mean, nothing like it. The other judge used up all the money, and I was told my political friends that I was going fishing. I wasn't going to run. Well, I ran into one of the girls in the middle of January of 14, and I said, what kind of shape's the county in? She said, the county is broke and got no money. Well, I wasn't too smart. I thought there'd be a little money there to manage and whatnot. Not one daggone dime. Not one. And they used all the money up. Money was given on this natural gas to oil and fuel. In the middle of 14, they give that company $400,000. Well, when I got in there and found there was no money, I called them in January and asked them for the money back, and they said, no, we don't have it. So it's been tough. We had to pass that 1 penny occupational tax to get our budget changed at June the 30th in 15. And we had enough money coming from that to bounce our budget. Because if we don't have our budget bounced by the 20th or 30th of June, then the state takes over. And instead of a penny, they'll charge 50 cents and let you have what it takes to get the thing done quick. Well, I didn't want that to happen, so we've done the best we can, and sometimes it's not good enough. Don't fail to look at everything. Do some study work and whatnot. It's not a funny thing. What I've known in my first race as sheriff, what was done then was they said everybody wants a half pint. I bought 20 cases of half pint, and those that wanted them, I give it to them. Well, then they started handing money with, and I didn't want to get in no jailhouse. I've been in a jailhouse a lot, being sheriff 8 years, but I didn't want to get put in. But anyway, it's something that they need to think about and make their own decision on what they want to do. But you need to follow what you have to do when you're running for office. And I'd like to say this. Some of our problems we have right now, from the president to the constable, they'll put their hand on the Bible and take the oath of office and never look back at it. That's what's wrong with our country now. They won't pay attention to what they're supposed to do. Well, some do, most of them don't, in my opinion. So I would advise anybody that wants to run for politics, think about it and look at the whole picture. And we need good people to run.